Okay, we're going to start. Welcome to this virtual event today. My name is Chris Kopok, and I am the co-CEO of Five Talents here in the UK. Thank you for joining us for the call today. We're going to be hearing all about our new program partnership in Malawi. We're absolutely delighted to be sharing more about this new program that is kicking off right now. So this is a virtual launch event, and we're going to be celebrating and hearing about all that the Anglican Diocese of Upper Shire has planned to support communities through savings groups. In addition to marking the launch of our latest partner program, we want to take a step back in this call as well. You may be aware that Five Talents is in a season of growth right now. Between 2023 and 2027, we're looking to double the number of new members in our partner programs. So we've got Hannah with us, who's going to be explaining all about the process of establishing new partnerships with our program partners, and understanding a bit more about the journey to launching new programs. A few practicalities. Please do say hi in the chat. You will find Megan on the end of the chat. She's there to solve any questions or technical queries that you might have. And we will be having questions and answers later in the call as well. So if you have a question, please do type out your question in the chat, and we'll be answering as many questions as we can later in the call today. As you may have heard, this is a recorded event. You won't be captured in the recording, but we did want to let you know that it is being recorded. I can see that people have been joining us as I've been sharing. A big welcome to you if you've joined since the beginning of the call. We're going to jump in with some introductions to kick us off. And the first introduction is we'd like to introduce Five Talents to you. I'm delighted that we've got some people who are new to Five Talents on the call today. Thank you for coming along to be part of the call today. People often ask me, what does Five Talents do? And I explain that Five Talents helps women primarily in East, Central, and Southern Africa to start businesses so they can provide for their families. But we wanted to explain a little bit more about our work as well. And so Megan is going to queue up and play a video that explains a bit more about the work of Five Talents. So Megan, over to you.
Try to imagine life without access to even the most basic financial services. A bank, a loan, a means to save. And what if you had no access to education? The school is too far. The fees are too expensive. Society doesn't encourage it because you're a girl. It creates a cycle of poverty. That's what it's like for millions of people all over the world. Whole communities become financially excluded. But at Five Talents, we know that people are like seeds, full of great potential, ready for the soil of opportunity so they can thrive. So, we support experienced local partners who help the seeds to germinate, enabling communities to be the change themselves. Our partners bring people together to form savings groups, safe spaces to learn to read and write, where they receive business skills training, save money, and begin to invest. We've seen women and men with no education and low confidence become strong, independent business owners, providing for their families and leading within their communities. As 80% of our members are women, we are seeing entire families transformed too, and the impact goes to the heart. 99% of the members in our largest partner program say they now have higher self-esteem. Like Adifa in Tanzania, who installed a tap at her home so she could sell water to her neighbors. Her profits have transformed the future for her family, while she supplies the community with a much-needed resource. Or Mirella from Burundi, who was elected as a local leader. She says, "We all have talents that we have learned not to bury or use for our own gain, but instead, we use them to help others in the community, and we have seen the fruit grow and multiply." Working together, our partners and members create a sustainable orchard of impact, transforming communities one seed at a time. Our partners empower individuals to create permanent changes. Members become self-reliant and resilient, learning, earning, saving, and investing together. We've seen over 280,000 entrepreneurs empowered since 1998, but there is still so much more we can do. Sustainable, generational, from seed to tree, from tree to forest. Join us and see it grow.
Fantastic. An introduction to Five Talents work there. And you will have seen that one of the themes of that video was growth. And that's the theme of our call today, growth in Five Talents work, growth in Five Talents partnerships. And so let me take a moment now to introduce to you our speakers during this virtual event. On the line from Malawi, we've got Florence and Victor, who are part of the program team at the Anglican Diocese of Upper Shire. Florence and Victor, are you there? I would love you to say hello. Perhaps, Florence, we come to you first. Do say hello. Explain to us where you're connecting in from today. And please tell us about your role at the Diocese of Upper Shire. I'm not sure we can hear Florence right now. So why don't we come over to you, Victor, first?
Hello, Chris. Yes, we are. So we are. Hello.
We can hear you.
Yes, I'm connected. I'm connected from Malawi. It's good afternoon from Malawi. As Chris has said, I am Victor Nelemba. I'm working with the Anglican Diocese in Malawi as the projects officer. So I've been working with the church for the past, empowering community members, working with people in church and communities. So I'm glad to join this call today to share about our experience in Malawi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. It's great to meet you. And just to say to people there, we had a slightly choppy line there, but we do hope that the internet will settle down a little bit as the call goes on. Thank you, Victor, for introducing yourself. Florence, are you there? We would love to say hello to you as well. Hear where you're connecting in from and a little bit more about your role at the diocese too.
Are you getting me?
We are getting you, Florence, loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Florence Kasanga. I'm working with the Diocese of Upper Shire as the Guilds Coordinator, and I'm also coordinating Five Talents program here in the Diocese of Upper Shire. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Florence. Florence and Victor, don't go anywhere. We have some questions that we would love to ask you in the call in just a short while. But first, we're actually going to come across to a member of the Five Talents UK team. Hannah is part of our team here in the UK and part of our global program team. Hannah, let me stop, and why don't you introduce yourself to everybody on the call?
Thank you, Chris. Hi, everybody. My name is Hannah. I'm part of the global program team here at Five Talents. We're the team that works with our wonderful partners, including Victor and Florence, who are here with us today. My role specifically looks at monitoring and evaluation, as well as supporting partners.
Brilliant. Thank you, Hannah. Well, as I explained earlier in the call, we're really looking forward to hearing more about the new partnership program in Malawi today. But as we are in a season of growth at Five Talents, growth is something we're talking so much about, growth of impact, growth of the partnership programs that we support. We thought it would be really helpful to explain a little bit more to everybody about how this growth actually happens, how we go about forming and developing new partnerships. So, Hannah, as a member of our global program team, I'd love to know from you, how do we decide where it is we're going to begin a new program as Five Talents?
So as Chris has already said, Five Talents is aiming to double the number of new people joining programs, so members joining savings groups by the end of 2027. So it's an ambitious goal for growth. We are doing that in two ways. One is growing the existing programs that we have. If you have visited a Five Talents program, you will know that there's often calls for more groups to begin, areas that we've not yet reached. And so investing in more in those partners that are already doing wonderful things is one way that we hope to achieve that growth. And the second way is what we're talking about today, which is working with new partners. So the team that are with us in Malawi is one new partnership that has begun recently. You may know Rachel, who is the CEO together with Chris, is currently right in the bottom south east of DR Congo, visiting our new partner there, which will begin soon. And so there's also a partnership in Zambia that we hope to begin soon as well. So there's lots of ways that we're growing, and we're really excited about that. I think one of the wonderful things that I hope you'll hear a bit more about is also how partners are learning from one another as we grow. In terms of starting a new partnership, how we decide that, we want to work in areas where there is obviously a need for the work. And so we do some work around identifying priority areas, priority countries. But we always, and I think this is really important, look for a partner that has a shared vision. And also, we wait to receive the invite to go to the country. So, for example, the Diocese of Apashire, where Florence and Victor are based, invited Five Talents to partner in the work. And I think that video that Megan shared before captures that really well. We want to build on that fertile land where there's already something going. And so that's how we identify new partnerships.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Hannah. I know I had the privilege of traveling to Kenya last week with a group of 13 supporters. And in Kenya, we visited two reasonably new programs. They're not brand new, but certainly part of the growth that we've been seeing in recent years. And I think it was immediately obvious to all of us on the trip that there was a very strong alignment between Five Talents' vision and motivation, and the vision and motivation of our partners as well. And that's something you've just touched on. Now, how do we decide if the partner is the right fit?
Yeah, I think I would describe Five Talents maybe as less of a kind of initiator and more of a mobilizer. So we are working alongside partners. I hope in what Florence and Victor share, they will share a bit about what's already going on in the diocese and their roles already. Both Victor and Florence have spent many years working with communities. And so we look for a partner that already has that vision. There's already that desire, that appetite for communities to come together in savings groups, to have that time together, to have business training, to grow businesses, as well as, depending on the context, to think about other things. You may know that Five Talents works in many different countries, mostly across East and Central Africa, very different contexts. And so within those, each program is different depending on that context. And so it might be that there is a peace building element integrated as there is in South Sudan. And you'll hear that within the Malawi program, there's a literacy element as well in response to what we saw there. So really, we look for a partner that wants to empower communities. That's probably the most key thing that we look for. And then we come in as a mobilizer.
Fantastic, Hannah. Thanks for explaining that to us all. So Five Talents has made a decision that it wants to grow. It's started to build a relationship with a partner, and it feels like this partner is the right fit. There's alignment. Can you talk us through the process for starting a program in a new country? So what's the pathway that Victor and Florence and the team in Malawi have walked down in the past months?
So the first step will be meeting the partner. So understanding a bit more about the context, about, like I say, why they've reached out to Five Talents, what their vision is, and also for us to share a bit about Five Talents, our vision, how we work, what we can offer the partnership. And then the next thing we would do together is try to understand a bit more about the context. So that would be through discussion with the team, understanding what's gone before, as well as doing a context assessment. So that would be trying to reach out to the communities that we want to reach, to understand a bit more from them about the communities we would be stepping into. So, for example, understanding what is going well there, what strengths exist, as well as what they might like to benefit from the program and what they hope the program will bring to them. And then the final thing is then getting ready to go, I suppose. So the team in Malawi have been trained by one of Five Talents partners in Tanzania on the business and the savings group curriculum. And they've also benefited for some training on our literacy, our participatory literacy approach that we use, using a trainer that many years ago trained the teams in South Sudan and Burundi. So again, building on that experience and that knowledge, giving the team the tools and resources they need.
Brilliant, Hannah. Thanks again for explaining that to us and taking us on the journey that the program team in Malawi have been going on in recent months. I should say, if you've got any questions for Hannah relating to how it is Five Talents operates or the forming of program partnerships, please do ask them in the chat. We'll have some time later in the call to answer questions, and I know Hannah will be staying around to be able to answer some of those questions. Having understood the journey that we go on to form a program partnership, this seems a really, really good moment to come back to Florence and to Victor to hear about the program that is launching in Malawi right now. So I have some questions for you, Victor and Florence. I'm actually going to kick off with a question for you, Victor. As we've explained, the partnership in Malawi is new. It's only started this year. I'm sure lots of us on the call would love to understand a little bit more about Malawi. Can you tell us a bit more about Malawi and why in particular you saw a literacy and savings group partnership with Five Talents as an opportunity to create change? So that's coming to you, Victor.
Thank you, Chris, for that question. Yes, Malawi, I will start by telling you about Malawi. So Malawi is one of the countries that is located in the southeast of Africa. So we are bordered by Tanzania, Zambia, and Mozambique with an estimated population of about 22 million people. Malawi is primarily an agricultural economy, whereby we grow a lot of maize. That's the main crop. And we also grow other crops such as tobacco, tea, rice, and sugarcane. So as a country, we are full of potential, but many families still face barriers such as low literacy levels, limited financial access, and resilience on small-scale farming. So partnering with Five Talents will allow us to strengthen the local communities by combining literacy training with savings groups that can help people gain confidence, also about improve their incomes and build a brighter futures. So together with Five Talents, we are empowering households, especially women, to drive change from within their own communities and also to build resilience, grow incomes, and create lasting change. So basically, that's what I can respond as regards to that question. Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. We're obviously really excited to see the program take its first steps and to see some of those opportunities created and that lasting change created that you're talking about. Florence, let's come to you, if we may, with the next question. Can you tell us a little bit more, building on what Victor said, can you tell us more about your context and the communities that you are working with there in Upper Shire?
Thank you so much, Chris. Our organization works in rural areas of the eastern province of Malawi, where the Diocese of Upper Shire is. And for now, we are working in the 4 archdiocese, which is Mangochi East Archdiocese, Baraka Archdiocese, Shire Archdiocese, and Zomba Archdiocese, where access to education and economic opportunities is limited. The communities we serve are predominantly, to be honest. So, of course, there are different people with different tribes. Yeah, so most of the times they rely on farming, and it is their source of income. These people faces significant challenges, including poverty, lack of infrastructure, and limited access to service. So we are working with them, these communities, to improve, especially to empower them in terms of economic and ending illiteracy. So by working together, we are able to see the outcome, such as improved literacy rates and increased economic stability. We are proud to be working and making a positive impact in these rural communities, and look forward to continuing our work together with them, with Five Talents. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Florence. It's really helpful to understand more about the context there. I'm going to come back to you with another question in just a moment. Just to say, we would love, if it's possible for you to switch your camera on, it'd be lovely to see you as well as hear you, if that's possible. In the meantime, I'm going to ask Victor another question, because we're understanding a little bit more about the context now. And as Hannah explained, there is no single type of Five Talents program. All of our programs are put together specifically to address the issues and to support communities within their context. So how did you set up the program in Upper Shire to be relevant to your specific context, Victor?
Thank you, Chris, for that question. So to ensure that the program meets the real needs of Malawian communities, in the first place, we began by listening. So that was done through the context analysis survey that Hannah mentioned that we conducted in our communities, or the communities that we wanted to implement this program. So in those communities, we engaged church leaders, community members, the local stakeholders, just to understand their daily challenges, existing strength, and what people aspire to achieve. So this has helped us to tailor the approach to local realities, that's including the seasonal income patterns, language needs, and the role of the church in the community life. So as the program, we have adapted to the literacy and financial training to be highly practical. So we are using local languages and examples from everyday farming, business, and household situations. So church leaders and trusted community volunteers were identified and trained as facilitators, just to ensuring that the program is locally led and build long-term skills within the communities. Thank you for that question.
Thank you so much, Victor, and just some really great glimpses into how all of our programs work. They're really understanding the context that you're working in, hearing from people living in that context, and recruiting people to deliver the program from within the context as well. So thank you for explaining those things to us. Florence, what excited you about leading the program in Upper Shire?
Yeah, I'm excited because we are contributing to improve adult literacy rates and empowering communities. And also, in terms of capacity building, we are trying to strengthen the skills and the knowledge of facilitators and community members. So it's very, very, very excitement job, and the cultural relevant. In terms of cultural relevant, we are adapting the program to suit local needs and their context. So we are so much excited with this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Florence. I know we're really excited about it as well, and I'm really excited to see what happens in the coming months. Victor, I'm going to come back to you because you took the decision as a diocese, as a team, to invite 5 Talents to begin a partnership with you in Malawi. Why was that? Why 5 Talents?
Yes, as the diocese of Upper Shire in Malawi, we made that decision to invite 5 Talents to partner with us in Malawi, simply because their approach aligns closely with the needs and the strength of our communities. So 5 Talents, they bring a proven model that combines literacy and financial skills, and that's through church-based savings groups. As we see the approach of 5 Talents, it's a holistic approach that combines faith and economic empowerment of our people. So we also value their commitment to long-term and local-led transformation. So 5 Talents provides that opportunity that the programs are locally led. So that's why we invited 5 Talents. So as a diocese, we are working together. We are able to strengthen the law of the church. They are able to support us to strengthen the law of the church in the communities, especially focusing on issues of development and creating opportunities that empower people to move out of poverty, that's with dignity and confidence. So that's why we invited 5 Talents to partner with us in the Diocese of Upper Shire. Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. I know that we're delighted that you invited us to partner with you, and that there is that strong alignment. Hannah was talking about it earlier, the need for alignment between you as the program partner and 5 Talents, and we see that alignment really, really strongly, which is encouraging. Florence, the program is very young. It's taking its first steps, but can you tell us what changes you've seen in the community so far?
For now, so many changes are there because in terms of literacy, many people, especially elders, have started reading and writing. In terms of economic empowerment, people have started doing businesses through Restore Savings Ministry. and also communities coming together, supporting each other for making positive change. So I'm so much excited with this program of 5 Talents, and it's my wish that this program should continue, maybe up to the end of the world. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you so much, Florence. And I know that we are always encouraged when we return to countries and have conversations with our partners about just how long savings groups continue to meet year after year after year, long after the partner has ceased supporting a group, it continues to meet. So perhaps your wish is plausible there, Florence, that it will continue on and on and on. Okay, I've got one more question before we hand over to the audience for questions. So again, do drop questions into the chat. We'd love to answer your questions. But Victor, thinking forward, thinking about the future, what do you hope the future looks like for the program and for group members?
Thank you for that wonderful question. So as a program in Malawi, we envisioned a community whereby women are empowered and are able to take part in church and community decision-making processes. So we'll be glad as a program to see a community with lasting literacy, financial and entrepreneurial skills. As a program, we also foresee a community that is resilient and self-reliant. We envision a community that is also reconciled to God and deepen their faith in God. And also, lastly but not least, we want to see a program that is expanding to reach more communities in Malawi. That's what we foresee as the program here in Malawi.
Thank you, Victor. What a brilliant vision for the future, and certainly a vision that we believe to be very achievable. So we're looking forward to seeing that vision become a reality for more and more members in the program in the months and years ahead. Florence, Victor, thanks again for answering my questions. This is the moment that I'm going to pass over to my colleague, Megan, who is on the call with us. She's been collating questions from the audience. So Megan, over to you now for some further questions from the audience.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Victor. Hi, Florence. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, so far for sending in your questions. We're going to get through as many as we can. We've made really good time today, so that's great news. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start with you, Victor, as you're kind of already on my screen at the minute. The Malawi program has already started seeing some members in savings groups build businesses. So one of the questions from the audience is, what kind of businesses do you all expect to see the members begin in their communities?
Thank you, Megan, for that question and for that wonderful question from the audience. As we are just starting, so currently the businesses are very small, but we hope to grow them. So currently we have other people that are doing small groceries shops within their communities. Some are selling agricultural produce like maize, beans, groundnuts. Some are selling fruits and vegetables. So those are the main businesses that we currently have, but we hope that some will improve their businesses to make them bigger as the time goes. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Victor, for sharing some of that. I think 5Talents is no stranger to many of our members using their farming background and the natural resources around them to start creating businesses. So it's great to hear that's happening in Malawi a bit too. The next question I have, I think Victor might throw to you as well, although Florence, please do chime in if you think you have the correct answer. But someone's asked, does climate change play a larger role in the communities, in the challenges that the communities you're supporting are facing?
Yes,
Yes.
Megan. Florence, please proceed.
Okay. Yes, because of drought, so many areas are suffering, are frustrating to find food because of drought. And also the problem of financial they are not able to find money for buying fertilizer. This is another challenge that they are facing, especially local people from the remote areas where we are operating as Five Talents team. And Victor can also include on that. Thank you.
Yes, just to add on that, as we have said that we are an agricultural-based economy, so most often we have unpredictable rains and droughts. This usually affect farming, and that threatens family food supply and income. We also, of recent, for the first 5 years or so, we have experienced floods and cyclones. Those disasters usually destroy homes, crops, so people are usually affected from their comfort zones, so they are displaced, properties lost. So for someone who is trying to bring his life up and having those experiences, it's a nightmare. So sometimes we also experience extreme hot weathers that it also contributes to the increased disease burden. So that's what I can add for now. Thank you.
Thank you both for contributing to that. That's really appreciated and it's interesting to hear. I think actually, rather than asking Victor and Florence more, I'm going to ask a question to Chris or Hannah, who work with our program partners more widely, because I think what we're finding is that climate change doesn't just affect Malawi, does it? It affects quite a number of programs, not even just Five Talents-based programs, but other NGOs, I'm sure, are facing similar difficulties and challenges. So Chris or Hannah, do you maybe have an answer on how Five Talents could continue to respond to the issue of climate change?
I have some thoughts, but Hannah, do you want to go first?
Sure. Maybe I was just going to say, I think climate change for many of our partners is not something that's coming, it's something that's arrived. And so it's something, as you've just heard from Victor, that we hear a lot about. It's something that for the communities we work with is a pressing issue already, and sadly will become a more pressing issue. So Five Talents has a climate resilience curriculum, which is currently used in Kenya and which we plan to adapt and then to roll out elsewhere. All that Five Talents does, as I think Megan said earlier, is really building on what people already have. So in terms of approach, the curriculum is also based on building on existing knowledge. So obviously climate change, it can feel quite an overwhelming thing, and it can feel overwhelming in terms of science and scientific terms. So the curriculum really aims to break down these ideas. So for example, groups will sometimes in Kenya, where we're using this curriculum, ask older people in the community to identify weather patterns and how they have changed, often use timelines, but also then try and identify what impact is this having on us and how can we mitigate those through practical action that they can take. Victor's mentioned the situation in Malawi. In Eastern Kenya, where we're using this curriculum, it looks more like particularly drought, unreliable rainfall, meaning it's hard to know when to plant. And so these are the kind of things they're trying to mitigate. So that might be through reforestation and understanding the importance of that, of burning less charcoal. It might be through water harvesting and thinking about ways that that can be done. It might be through learning about and planting climate resilient crops. But we really try to build on the knowledge that people already have and to use that in order to help people adapt to climate change. And I know that Chris, as he mentioned, has just got back from Kenya and actually from visiting that program. So you might be able to add a bit more colour, Chris, to what I've just shared.
Well, not at all, Hannah. That was really interesting to hear the approach being taken. Rachel and I had the privilege of taking a group of 13 supporters to coastal Kenya, where we spent some time in and around Mombasa and also inland to Savo. And climate change and the challenges that have been created for communities as a result of changing climates were one of the things that we heard most about as we visited groups. So during our trips, we'll meet with groups and meet members, and we'll get to hear about their experiences, and they'll explain the impact that savings groups have had upon them and their families. But we'll also get to ask questions as well. And as we traveled, we were hearing all the time, the rains haven't come. In some groups, they were telling us the last time it rained was in January. And we said, well, surely it's been, there's been some rain since January, perhaps just not heavy rain. And they said, no, there's been no rain at all since January here. And that's a really significant problem for communities that rely upon agriculture. We heard how in one community, women were walking 17 kilometers a day to access water, to fill up jerry cans and bring water back. Most encouraging were some of the steps that were being taken by communities. We saw lots of vertical gardens, for example, a specific design of gardens that can grow lots and lots of crop to be eaten and to be sold at the market, but use a minimal amount of water, or the transition away from sort of traditional stoves towards fuel efficient stoves that use, members were estimating, half the amount of coal or wood. And so there's a cost saving there for members as well. In fact, in one of the groups we visited, the members had been taking small loans to invest in these stoves, recognizing that it was a great financial investment because it saved money. Last reflection that I wanted to share, we went to one group and we asked the group, we said, we hear a lot about climate change, but what does climate change mean for you? How have you seen the climate change across your lifetimes? And the question was directed to a lady in the group who we were introduced as somebody who was over 80 years old. And she explained to us that the rains just are not coming. And a lack of rain means crop failure, and crop failure means that in her words, we go hungry. And she explained to us by now the beans should have grown to higher than her knees, but actually the beans haven't even broken through the ground yet. So really interesting to get very personal, seasoned reflections from group members on their experiences, but also encouraging to see the ownership that members were taking of some of the steps around climate smart agriculture and other sort of climate resilient steps that could be taken, especially, I think, for those of us who are traveling from overseas, recognizing that the communities who were visiting Kenya were not the communities that had created these challenges in the first place. So some reflections from me there on the trip last week, Megan.
Thank you both. That's helpful. I think it's helpful to hear what's happening, across the entire Five Talents network and not just in Malawi. And as we're talking about the Five Talents network, Victor, I happen to know, so I might already have a little bit of an answer to this audience question, that you were at a program workshop recently in Nairobi with some of the other members of the Five Talents program family. So one of our audience questions is, have you been able to learn from other Five Talents partners about how their programs work and how that might help the program in Malawi getting started?
Thank you, Megan, and for that question from the audience. Yes, as the program in Malawi, we continue to learn. Before I talk about the program partners meeting that we recently had, as Hannah said, we have gone through two trainings, one in savings, another one in literacy. All those trainings were provided by external people. Those are the long-time partners for Five Talents, one from Uganda and one from Tanzania. So throughout the training, they have been sharing their experiences with us. We continue to engage them up to now. We continue to talk with them about the programs in their countries and also support us growing our own programs. And of recent, we attended this partners workshop in Kenya. And during that workshop, we had real-time experience from partners who have stayed with Five Talents for a long time, and also for the partners that have recently joined. We have had shared experiences through presentations, talks, and also unplanned engagements. I must say that during that time, I had time to interact with people from Kenya, DRC, Tanzania, Rwanda. All those we have had some specific talks on specific issues. One of the things that was interesting to learn through that engagements is how the approaches to savings are. So the common part of the saving that is common is called VSLA, Village Savings and Loan Associations. But in Kenya, they are using what we call ASCA model. So the ASCA model allows the groups to accumulate their savings, not focusing on distributing within the members, but growing their income to start something big. So that is one thing also we ran through that interaction. as also said by Chris and Hannah, that people from Kenya share their climate resilience program, how they are integrating that into the programs of savings. So we also learned a lot. We had similar challenges to some extent. We interacted about how they managed to control wild animals from invading their crops. So we also have some areas where we have wildlife animals that are invading the crops for human beings in our communities. So we were interested to see that there are also some natural remedies that can be implemented, such as planting sunflower around the field to protect elephants to come into your field. So that was interesting to learn from. So yes, as the program, we continue to learn, we continue to engage, and we have developed a strong partnership with different partners in different countries. Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. It's great to hear that you're still in contact with everyone and that you all can speak regularly. I think Hannah will be proud to hear that because she's always advocated that the partners need to speak directly to one another. You all get to cross-learn and share, and that's so beneficial to each of the programs. Maybe this one should go to Florence, as we haven't heard from her for a moment. Florence, I'm going to ask you a question from the audience that's, how do you measure success in the program in Malawi?
Yes, as of now, I'm seeing so many changes, and we are successful doing better because so many people have started doing businesses. They're selling. Others are selling donuts, bread. They're baking bread, so they are having something by the end of the day. Yeah, they are able to buy even soap, to wash their clothes. Yeah, people are changing, their lives are changing. Yeah, so we are happy with this program, to be honest. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Florence. Victor, did you want to add anything to what Florence has said about how you're measuring success? It's great to hear that there's already businesses starting and household purchases made that maybe were not the members were not able to do before.
Yes, I can just add a few because she has said it all. But one thing that we can say is that we are in continuous contact with our group members. We know all our group members. As you know, as we said in the beginning, that we had the context analysis. Then we have had a survey, a baseline survey that established where they are, the current state of the group members when they were starting the program. And in our program, we have also designed a number of activities that we continue to engage with people. We have monthly mentoring sessions. So on monthly basis, each group has to be visited. We have to interact with the group members. We also have savings group activity surveys that we conduct periodically to measure people from where they were and where they are now. So all those interactions that we are having with our people, that's where we are able to tell the difference, not scientifically proven, but just visible change that they are there by interacting with them. We can see that in the first place, they were not able to do this. Now they can do that. So in terms of the backup to be proved by scientifically measures, that's why you have all the systems. So I should also thank Five Talents for putting in place a good M&D plan that they have, that we use, the income care, that is able to track all the progress from the beginning to the current situation up to where we are going. So we are able to track the change in the application that we have, that we enter our data day in, day out. So thanks for that initiative. That's how we can say that we measure the changes in our communities.
Thank you, Victor, for answering that as well. Hannah will be very excited to hear how well the ComCare app is working. So for those of you who don't know, Hannah is the program team's monitoring and evaluation specialist. So She is one of the members of the program team that works heavily in helping the programs track their data and see the changes and see the weak points of the program through that data as well. So it's great to hear that that's already being utilized in Malawi to track the changes that the members are seeing as well. The next audience question I have is, as you're on my screen, Victor, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you anticipate some challenges that you might face when you start recruiting more members and forming new groups in Malawi?
Thank you for that question. We say that challenges are inevitable. We can face challenges. So yes, we may anticipate some of the challenges. Some we can manage them. Some we have to discuss. So one thing that we can share with you is that in the first place, we had the process, what we call envisioning. So envisioning is whereby we called upon all the church leaders, community leaders, to envision the change that they want to happen in their communities. So from that envisioning process is where people who are interested to be part of the program started joining in. So some tried to join with maybe some of the expectations. There are usually expectations. Some had expectations that they will have they'll be supported with like financial support and the like, but all those fears were addressed in the first place through an engagement session. So as we grow bigger, as we register more groups, for your information, currently we have a lot of groups that are knocking on our doors to start new groups, but we are saying wait until we manage the current crop of groups that we have. And we learn from them. And when we are moving forward, we want to have the learnings that we are taking forward to the next chunk of groups so that we can mitigate those risks of some of the challenges that they come about by this excitement of the new program that is starting. So that's what we are doing. And on top of that, some of the challenges that we are facing, we are talking of the vastness of the area that we are covering. So currently we are 2 people in office with 1 more to join us, and we are covering a very big area. So as we said, we need to monitor each and every group at least once a month. So currently we have 25 groups. So to visit each and every group every month is another challenge that we're encountering. So in order to mitigate that, through the training that we had, we identified what we call lead trainers. So these lead trainers were strategically located in all the 4 archdiaconales that we're operating. So they are the first point of contact in terms of supporting the group that we are working with. So those are some of the issues that we can share for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. The last question that I have from the audience is, what do you see the program looking like in the future? I think we've talked a little bit about this already, but I think it's worth asking again because you guys are already doing so well monitoring the groups. So it'd be nice to hear what you hope the future looks like, Victor.
Yes, as I said, the future, we want to see the community that we started with as vulnerable people, people that we started as people with no names, to be people who are empowered economically and also with literacy education, so that they can be able to make their own decisions, contribute positively to community and church decision-making processes. We want to see communities that are resilient. We are talking of issues of climate change. So climate change is here to stay. We just have to find ways to mitigate their impacts. So we want to see community members who are resilient to the impacts of climate change. We also want to see the communities, the members of the communities that have reconciled their relationship with God. One other aspect of the 5 Talents program is fellowship. and also reconciliation of relationships. So we also want to see people who are deepening their faith by reconciliating their relationship with God. So basically, that's what we want to see in the future.
Thank you, Victor. Amazing. That's great to hear. Chris, I think that's all the audience questions I have. So really, it's over to you.
Thank you, Megan, and thanks, audience, for all those questions. I want to say a really, really big thank you to both Florence and to Victor for coming along and joining this lunchtime call today and explaining more about the programme in Upper Shire, the steps you've already taken, but also giving us a flavour of what's to come in the future. Florence, Victor, we are cheering you on, and we're really looking forward to hearing more news and updates in the months ahead. A big thanks to Hannah as well for coming and explaining a bit more about the journey to launching new programme partnerships. It's been interesting to hear that. As we finish up, I wanted to finish up by answering a question that Rachel and I and others in the team always get asked when we have events or when we meet people. People always say to us, what can we do to help? There are three things that we will usually cite as steps that people can take to support the work that's happening in Malawi and elsewhere across East, Central and Southern Africa. The first is to give to support our programs. And I know we already have so many generous supporters of Five Talents on this call. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you're encouraged by the growth that you're seeing. That's only possible because of the investments that you're making in the work of Five Talents and our program partners. For those who pray, we always ask you to pray for our programs, for our program partners, for our teams, because we know that that makes a big difference as well. Please do pray and cheer on the work as we seek to achieve our targets over the coming years and see more and more families and members impacted through savings groups. And the final thing is to tell others about the work of Five Talents. And we've actually got a couple of really easy steps that you can take in terms of telling, and that's to invite somebody along to an event. I can't personally believe that we're in early November, whereas the year gone, but we are, and we have two final events before the end of the year that we'd love to invite you along to. And we would love you to think about inviting somebody else along to as well to introduce them to our works. We have winter drinks at the Armourers Hall in London on the 26th of November. And we have a Christmas carol service at St Mary Le Bow in central London on the 15th of December. Don't worry if you didn't note down those dates. We will include information about the last two events this year in the email that we send out after this call. All that remains is for me to say a really, really big thank you to everybody that's come along and been part of this lunchtime event today. It's been great to have you with us. We hope you've enjoyed hearing more about the programme in Malawi and indeed more about growth within Five Talents and how we form programme partnerships. And we hope that you have a brilliant rest of the day and indeed a brilliant rest of the week as well. And we look forward to seeing you again at an event in the future. Thanks for joining us today.